Hey, how you going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with crank.com and with that metal station. Today I've got Dave and Wal from Head of Clay, who have been fairly busy the last couple of years with 5 singles, starting with their debut single, Where We Used to Be, last year. And I know it's been a fucking hell of a year for you guys over there in Melbourne. But the most recent single is Dirty Lies, and a really cool film clip to go with it, guys. Cheers for joining me.
Thanks, Jai.
Thanks,
for
Jai.
having it on.
Thank you so much for having us, mate.
It must be good. First off, I'm going to start straight here. It must be good for you guys to finally be out of lockdown, being in Melbourne and being the most locked down bloody city in the world. It must be good to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Breaking records, mate. Yeah.
Tell us about it, mate.
It's good to see people out in the roads. It's good to see life back to some sort of normality.
And it was such a beautiful day here in Melbourne today. It was just glorious. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then the Melbourne Cup as well. So it's a big day for Melbourne as well. So it's a good time to finally be out, and hopefully live music will soon follow not long after. I want to ask, guys, how did the band originally start? I know you guys have probably got a fair big history in the music scene as well, but can I ask how you started Head of Clay?
Basically what happened, I was playing in another band, and I went to LA with that other band, and we won best rock act and best song for the year. And it's like we walked the red carpet and we had all this hype. Then we come back to Melbourne, and no one's in Australia sort of wanted to promote the band or anything like that. So we sort of split up, and it all got handed to me. And it was like I had a recording studio back home, and I was recording Wally's band. And Wally and I got talking, and I said, look, I'm looking for a bass player to join the band. And he said, look, I play bass. I'll come and join the band with you. So
that was about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Another different outfit that we had on. It was a bit more poppy sort of rock.
Yep.
And then Head of Clay came out about 2.5 years ago. We just went back to the roots of rock and roll.
Yeah, just doing classic Aussie rock, basically.
Yeah, awesome. I've got to ask about your previous life in music, guys. Dave, tell us what band that was, because that kind of sparked my interest there as well. Because
that was called That was called Bedford, and we won the Hollywood Music and Media Awards in 2010, and we won like best single and best rock act for the year. Like the guitar player and myself went over to the awards just to go and have fun, and all of a sudden we win it. And Gilby Clark was up on stage and he presented us the award, and it was like I was blown away. Absolutely. It's like we walked the red carpet, there was paparazzi all around us. You know, it was like a dream, basically.
That would have been a really cool experience, and then come back to Australia, and then it's indicative of a lot of great bands here in Australia and good musical acts that people know more overseas than their own bloody country at times. And it does my head in being on this side of the camera, because I know the quality of talent we have here.
Yeah, totally. How many acts have made it overseas before they make it in Australia? It's we've got to start to learn to plug our own talent here, like you said, John.
Yeah, totally. It goes across rock and metal and punk and a whole lot of genres. But I've noticed a lot in the rock scene. A lot of rock guys from Australia and New Zealand end up over in the US as well, playing over there. And then same as metal bands. We've got a lot of metal bands that are huge over Europe, but over here in Australia, you say near.
No one knows about them.
No one knows them.
I know, no one knows them. It is. So I want to jump into that.
Got to change, mate.
It does. It really does. Bloody got to change.
How do we change this?
I know people. It's a thing. People got to get more and check out more bands. I think people get stuck in a routine. I was one of those people that got stuck listening to so many bands. I'd have a handful of bands I'd play over and over again until I was sick of them, maybe get a new one here and there. It wasn't until I started really getting into the music scene and doing what I'm doing on this side of the camera that I've got to meet guys like yourself and so many more bands and dive into all these different genres from rock through metal.
Yeah,
no, it's appreciated, mate. Because it's great because there's not much of it happening. You know?
No, there's not.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, can I talk about the first single you guys brought out, the debut single, Where We Used to Be? Tell us a little bit about that.
Where We Used to Be.
Yeah.
Wow. What happened with that song was Wally and I were doing a different act before we started Head of Clay, and we wrote the material in the act. So what we did was we had a few songs there, and we thought, okay, let's use this bass line. And let's use a different drum line, and let's rewrite all the vocals and all the melodies and all the lyrics.
Well, and Head of Clay is the actual name of the band comes from Like everyone's got a head of clay at the moment that gets molded by your media, by your
Government.
society, the narrative. And if you don't think that narrative, you get cancelled or you get, ostracized somehow. So where we used to be is like
how it used to be
before
back,
all this crap happened, when there were
happened.
bands that could express themselves. You know, like our song "Dirty Lies" at the moment is getting promoted, but who knows? A lot of it's getting some sort of backlash from the protesters on the video.
Yeah.
So where we used to be is trying to make a triumph of what we used to have once before. That we want back, mate.
And we showcase more of the band in that video clip instead of doing a storyline with what we've done with Dirty Lies.
Yeah, well, we'll jump into Dirty Lies actually, since we're talking about it. I thought that was really cool, and I love the lyrics with you guys. A lot of it's kind of political but uplifting, and with that track Dirty Lies, you could look at it one way or against, but I kind of got from that track like not getting caught up in the fucking agenda one way or the other.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and we don't want people to do that as well.
That's how we want to interpret. You know, not get sucked in. It's all about.
There's many ways you can interpret the song.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Within the lyrics.
Yeah, you tell us a little more, Well,
it's like you said, the song's not negative in a way, because it says don't, soak the razor of light, just get into the truth and everything will be exposed. And a lot of the dirty lies is what's happening at the moment, and it's keeping people in fear, it's keeping people divided, and we've got to fight through that.
Yeah, we do.
And through the chorus, we wanted to uplift people as well. Like, let's all have a good time. Let's break free and enjoy ourselves like we used to.
Lose all this control that's over us, and
so
good time rock and roll.
How's it been making music for you guys the last couple of years? Because I know you kind of started with the debut, and I know it's been a rough time. But how's it been, personally for you guys and musically being able to create through this time?
Well, for us guys, it's pretty easy because we've got like our own recording studio. And Wally and I, we live just around the corner from each other.
Oh wow!
And we've got the time to write songs, and it doesn't cost us anything. Yep. We sit in the studio for days and just work on tracks, and we write one track, and it's like, this one will make the cut. No, this one won't. So then we put that aside and we start writing on something else. So it's basically, we're lucky like that. We've got like our next 6 singles sitting here in the can, just waiting to get them mixed and mastered and shoot a clip for each one. So we're very lucky like that.
Yeah, I like that over on your YouTube channel. You've got all the clips, you've got the little teaser as it's kind of come out and kind of prepped everyone for it. It must be different because you guys have been in the music scene for a while, seeing the way the music scene's going now, where it's like you cut a few singles, you drop one at a time instead of dropping albums.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well,
bands like us that haven't got a massive fan base, it's very hard to sell albums, and like you work so hard on a full album, it take you like a year, or some people takes 2 years to work on it. And then all of a sudden you put the whole album out, and within 3 months, that album's gone. People are not going to want to listen to it. So we thought that we'd release one single every 3 to 4 months. So that means we've got a lot more legs to run on with our album. It'll take a few years to release it, and we're still keeping everyone entertained, and hopefully we're getting more subscribers and building up our fan base.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially
exposure's all about it, man.
Exactly, especially in the state of the scene at the moment. It's like I've seen some bands who did drop an album kind of like the same time you guys were releasing your debut single, and we just had all that crap going on in the world. It just kind of got lost, and bands have had to come back and re-release it.
Flies under the radar.
That's what happens. Yeah. And it's happened with some of our singles that we've released as well.
Yeah.
It gets lost and under the radar. So that's why we like to be a bit more resilient and keep hitting people with a new single every 3 to 4 months, and hopefully one single that they might come across, they like it, and then they can check all our other stuff out
and subscribe, and you just see the next one. You can virtually say every 3 months. We've got, like Dave said, at least 5 to 6 in the pipeline that are ready to go. So every 3 months, 3 to 4 months, and like you said before, the industry now, you can't just release like an audio song. You got to entertain a little bit, so you got to have some sort of
have
clip
some
with
visual,
or else people won't listen to it.
and we love getting together and shooting video clips because it's a shitload of fun.
We do our own shit, and it's great.
How was it shooting the last film clip, the Dirty Lies one?
That was my car we trashed.
No, in Rise
no,
Up.
the last clip that we done before Dirty
Was
Lies
Rise
was
Up.
Rise Up.
Yep.
We trashed our own car.
Yeah.
Had to get rid of it anyway. Too much on Rego, so I said, "Oh, let's."
I wanted to jump on the bonnet with a sledgehammer and start really biting into it, but then the neighbours probably would have called the cops and been in a lot of trouble.
What the hell's going on?
But this, now Dirty Lies, we were still in lockdown. We couldn't do anything. We had a couple of venues booked, and then lockdowns were shut.
Yeah, we wanted to do a big budget video clip, but then that all got cancelled because of the lockdown. So Wally and I had to sneak around and get in the van and take all our props and everything and film people here and there.
We done it on a green screen, so the background was superimposed, and that's all we could do because we wanted to release it. We didn't know if it was going to be. You know, they kept on saying it was going to open up, but it kept on changing.
We also wanted to release the song a lot earlier too, so we really struggled to release this song because of the lockdowns and the restrictions that were happening.
And it's really hard for bands like playing live, especially in the underground rock and metal scenes, is a huge part of the music industry as well. And not having that ability to play live and connect to fans, and for them to go over and buy some sweet Head of Clay shirts like you guys are rocking at the moment, it really is a thing that we're missing. Because you go over, you see the shows, and I've said it 100 times, you go chat to the band and you buy an album, you go home and you tell 20 of your mates, and then that you get a couple of your mates into it as well, and it kind of has that snowball effect. It must have really sucked not having the live scene, but watching the other shit could go ahead, but not the music industry.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people have been suffering. A lot of musicians.
Yeah,
suffering.
We haven't jammed we haven't kicked out for at least 2 years now, just before it all locked down. So.
But in a way, we were really lucky because we have the studio and we're just concentrating on writing new tracks.
Yeah,
and the tracks that we were writing, we wanted to have hard-hitting songs. So, not all hard-hitting songs, but songs that would appeal to an audience. So we sort of concentrate on doing that. And sort of we've left our live show back a bit until we start getting a lot more, or build up our fan base. And then we'll start going out there and doing some festivals and some live shows.
Yeah,
and some Dirty Lies was spawned from this anyway. So you know, a lot of protest songs have come out of this sort of era. You know? Yeah,
it would have made a big impact on you guys with the songwriting and everything as well. I want to ask about the Janie track though. That one was cool as too. I really enjoyed that one. Kind of one you play for the missus.
We had the best time with that track because we got a chance to say to the drummer, we need to dress you up as a woman. He goes, yeah, for sure, man, whatever you want. It's like, geez, that was easy. So we had to go out hunting for clothes for him. We got a wig, a dress, high heels. What size shoe are you? Size 9. How am I going to find heels with a size 9? So we traveled so many places to get them, and we actually got them.
It was fun.
And then we dressed him up and he just looked spectacular.
We hired a hotel in the city, so you know the people on the other side, once he was dressed up, that looked really sus.
What kind of video are they filming in it?
What's going on? And video and too. So
it's a rock video. It's all good. And the second single I thought was really cool. You was trying to raise some money there for the Salvation Army as well with Weekend Unite, which is a really cool cause to get behind as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was right.
That did really well.
Yeah, that was right at the start. You know, everyone was in a state of shock. So we tried to help out.
And we got a shitload of views on that video. Shitloads.
Great.
Did really well for us.
And a really
I
great
think
message.
We really pushed it right at the right time, which was good.
Yeah, it was a really, really great message. Where's the best place? I'm going to ask while I'm talking about this. Where's the best place people can get along and support you guys, i.e. buying these singles or buying some of those cool shirts you guys are rocking at the moment? Because without shows, it's like merch is a big thing. And I notice a lot of people in rock and metal and like myself is still buying tons of merch, which is good to see.
For sure, yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, on our Facebook page, Head of Clay, Our singles, you can buy them on Spotify. There's iTunes. There's
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, Tidal. So
we're
Apple
basically
Music.
on in like every digital platform to buy music.
Yep.
So if you just type us in, you'll find us.
We've got Instagram, so Head of
Yeah.
Clay, but all our merchandise is on Facebook page,
Facebook,
on
Instagram.
Yeah, and Instagram.
Yeah.
So get behind us, mate, because we all need a little bit of a shove at the
Of course
moment.
we do.
Yeah, and that's why I do jump onto sites a little more, avoiding the fucking streaming platforms, jumping onto Bandcamp and buying off. I say it a lot. I buy tons. Like, I've got hundreds and hundreds of albums in my Bandcamp collection now. It's just my wish list keeps growing bigger than my collection. But I always feel like
you have to upgrade the iPhone all the time.
Exactly, and it's a great. I put it all on my computer, which is good. I'm shit with my phone, but it's a good place to have your music on there as well for people that do want to listen digitally. You know, you get unlimited fucking streaming with an album that you've bought, safe in the knowledge you're contributing to the music scene, because that's a big fucking part for us all to keep this rock and metal scene going.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
It's important, yeah.
We wrote a song about that, actually, and that's going to come out in not the next single, but the single after. We wrote a song about, you know, people getting up, coming out, supporting bands. So, you know, that's coming up.
Lockdowns and shit like that, it's addictive, being isolated, and it's hard to kick into gear again.
For sure.
I saw it from last night. It was pretty quiet out there compared to like a Cup Eve normally. Like when I was a kid, mate, we used to rove the streets at 3 o'clock in the morning, Cup Eve.
Yeah.
1:30, it was all shit dead. So
I think people are just getting over
it's still something
that
people got to get into the rhythms of going out and having fun. So we wrote a song about that to go support all your bands.
Go support everyone and go, let's go.
Yeah.
Considering the bands we have in the Australian scene is unreal. Don't get me wrong, I love international bands well, but what we have here in Australia is so bloody unfucking real, and we've all got to get behind bands and explore and go see new bands. You know, if you haven't seen Head of Clay, head down, catch them live, or catch other Aussie bands that are playing. We've got sick bands across all genres, even hip hop, bloody pop, rock, metal, punk, you name it. We have it here in Australia, and if you're not checking out some of the talent we have,
all of it, mate,
you need to be doing that.
It's real honest sort of Aussie rock, sort of. It's got its own flavour. You know what I mean? A lot of the bands that you hear out there have got their own twang of what
exactly.
That's what it's all about. Sort of part of music is, even if it is metal, they've got their own distinct style.
That's being
not
unique.
Much like overseas. So we've got, even if it's the way they sing it, the music,
exactly.
We've got our own sort of flavour in Australia that we've got to go support it, because, mate, Australian bands overseas have done it bigger than
they've done so well
overseas. It's just a matter of getting them out there.
Yeah. But I think overseas is a little bit different. You get like welcomed a lot more than here in Australia. Over there, they'll play you. You know, they'll put you on stage. Here, you know, you've got to know people and you've got to know this, and it's hard to get into a lot of venues, and you know, you've got to do your dues.
You got to bring the people, mate.
And getting more of the I don't know if I'm being overly critical because I'm in the media, but I notice there's not as much media doing this kind of thing, covering what we have here in Australia.
I know, and it's a shame, isn't it? Because if the media sort of got behind all the bands and start pushing Aussie bands, it'd be a completely different thing here in Australia.
But you see it through the government too. The hardest hit people through this lockdown were musicians and people who earned a living on gigs. Yeah, the arts is getting trashed in Australia.
Yeah,
that sort of individualism in expression is getting trashed. It's all getting down on the TV, the television. So it's got to be, you know, from the top. The government's got to start pushing programs to start getting people out there to start, you know, not paying the people who gig, but having some sort of program that they can get some sort of living to be able to provide music for the people.
Yeah.
But you don't see any of that support at the moment from the government.
Especially from the media, none whatsoever. Or the media.
I know. It
which is
feels like they've
terrible.
totally ignored the music industry because, it's not
The
just
whole music
the
industry is
bands that
trashed.
go on stage and play. There's a whole industry behind it. You got the sound engineers, the lighting tech, the roadies, the bar staff, the venues.
Totally.
All this industry behind it just feels
It all
like
cascades,
at times,
mate.
exactly. The government is just going, well, fuck you. You ain't playing footy, so we don't give two shits about you and your band.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me. And it's not just here in Australia. I've spoken to a lot of bands all over the bloody world, and a lot of governments have been the same. But it's the one thing that has gotten us through is the arts. If none of us had music and movies and entertainment through these last couple of years, where the hell would we be? Where's the support?
I know. And Melbourne's so renowned for all of those things.
I know.
We're so big with the arts and all of that, music, and it's the mecca of Australia. And they've just chopped us at the knees.
And like you said, the whole idea is to get up, from where you are down. We've got a way of supporting ourselves through our sort of jobs during the day because already we haven't been able to make a living out of music because it's only for the very few that start to make enough to live off. So most people are doing their own stuff, and most of those people are in hospitality when you're working in music, because you're trying to do that full time, and even that was trashed for them. So
totally.
It's been a double whammy for a lot of bands in Melbourne.
All our friends that play, 4 or 5 nights a week normally to earn a living, they've just been doing it so hard, these guys.
Yeah.
They've had to sell equipment, sell guitars, sell other things, to try and survive through all of this.
But on a lighter night, we're out of this, mate. So
we're out of this.
That's why
we're out of it.
You got to support. When everything opens, just go and see your bands.
That's it. Just go and support local talent.
Have you heard much what's happening live music-wise over there in Melbourne? I've got to ask, you got something on the cards? Just wait and see, because it's a bit hard to tell at the moment, isn't it?
We had a tour booked in the US for July for next year, but I think we've cancelled that.
Yep.
Because we sort of just want to wait a little bit, and we're really in no rush.
Yeah.
To go out there and start, playing all over the place. We want things to basically settle down a bit, and then we'll go out there and start, attacking festivals and, applying for this.
And we want to have a few more songs under our belt, to release. I think this year is a blur for everyone. You couldn't do jack shit for anything. So
and each time we organise something, it gets cancelled.
Yeah,
because we don't know if we're going to be locked down again. So we thought, let's not deal with that. Let's just write a few more tracks, get our repertoire right up, and then go for it. Then, basically.
Yeah, that's the way to go, guys. I'm going to sign out there, but I am going to play Dirty Lies with this interview on the radio show on thatmetalstation.com. But did you guys want to pick another track each out of the singles you've released to add in there? Because I'll play 3 tracks from you guys on the show tonight.
Rise Up, Janie, and Dirty Lies.
Those ones there, the last 3, that's the ones that's starting to represent us.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much. Do you have any last words, shout outs, or thank yous you'd like to add in there to wind it up?
I'd really like to thank you, Jay, because you've done a great job interviewing us. And I'd like to thank our publicist as well, Wally's partner, my partner, for supporting us and helping us through all the hard times in lockdown. I'd like to thank the other boys in the band, Prav and Carlos, for sticking together and working really hard.
And Crank, mate.
Thanks for
your support.
Awesome,
thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Absolute pleasure. Everyone go grab some Head of Clay music, put it in the stereo, crank it up really loud for the neighbours. Cheers, guys.
Go for it.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, brother.
Still sitting on the fence, 'cause there ain't much time till they come knocking at your door. Till they come knocking at your door.